Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm again back with a very interesting topic from my book, The Power of Self-Talk. And by the time this video will end, you will understand about this particular topic. The topic is the difference between feedback and criticism. You will understand why it is important to give feedback rather than giving criticism, what is the power of that and how we can do that. Let me start with a very interesting story. The story is of a person who used to live in a village, and that person was not having any work. So that person started stealing things from here and there, and because of that he had to go to prison many times. The person had become so popular in his nearby villages that nobody was offering any support. Once he was feeling very hungry, so he thought, let me go to a different village. Once he entered there, nobody supported him because everyone knew that he used to steal the things, and he has been to the jail many times. But the priest of that village helped that person. He said that, why don't you come to my house? Anyone who is coming to my house is just like God. And he offered him food and some other things. So when that person had all that, he was feeling very energetic and all that. By the night time, again, his thinking of stealing something arose again. So he picked up something and he went away from there. His bad luck, he was caught again. He was taken to the police, and then police called the priest. So he was having some silver coins with him. So now the police asked that priest that this person was in your house and now we have caught him with these silver coins. What do you say about that? The priest said very quietly that this person was in my house and I offered him coins as well as the silver candlestick. I think he missed to carry the candlestick with him and he only carried the silver spoons. So I want to give the candlesticks also to him. Now the police felt that yes, maybe the priest is saying right, and then they released that person. Now what is the moral of this story? If you see what exactly is happening, when a person is doing something wrong and we are giving the punishment again and again, that person is becoming more determined to do it and try to find some new ways. But when we show compassion, there is a very high possibility that person may think to improve and change further. Well, Sadhguru has said a very interesting thing. He said that punishment can make a person rock solid, but compassion beyond reason will shatter him more than that. If we talk about our daily life, we all are making mistakes. Some are intentional, some are unintentional, but majority of them are unintentional. But what do we want? We want people to support us when we make a mistake, or people to question our integrity when we do that. Well, Mahatma Gandhi has said a very interesting thing. He said that hate the sin, not the sinner. But what happens? Think about a child who failed in the exam, or maybe a maid servant in the home who just broke a very expensive cutlery, or maybe the driver of a car who just banged the car against another car and damaged the entire car. What we are doing it? We are criticizing, we are shouting, we are questioning the integrity, we are questioning the ability of that person. But what is happening in that case? That person feels more bad, that person feels more disempowered, that person feels that I am not good to do anything. But now think of another scenario, when something similar happens, and instead of criticizing that person, questioning that person, we're trying to find out that why it happened and what can be done with respect to improving the skill of that person. What do you think is going to happen? There is a high possibility that that person may think to improve, that the person may try to learn some new skills. We can think about ourselves. Say for example, our boss has given some work to us and we are late, or we have not done it correctly. What do we want at that time from the boss? The boss should criticize us, or boss should understand our situation, and boss should empathize with us that there must be some good reason why it has happened. And when we find someone like that, we always feel that this boss is good. Well, someone has very rightly said in this particular situation that call it an attitude or whatever, you treat me well and I will treat you in the same way. So what's important here is that whenever we are doing something wrong, or someone has done something wrong, Rather than focusing on something what that person has gone wrong, we should focus on what we can do about that. That does not mean that we should not question that person, that why that thing has happened, but there is a way of doing it. When we criticize, we are disempowering that person, but when we support that person, we are empowering that person to do something interestingly and something much better than what he has done. And very important thing to understand, that a person who is criticizing, that person is having more negative energy, and that person is becoming more disempowered than the other person. Let's assume there is a company and there is a boss. In the morning, that boss is shouting at one colleague. After some time, another colleague is coming, that boss is again shouting, and the same thing is happening till the evening. Imagine the kind of negative energy, first of all, that particular boss must have created internally, and then he has spoken that. And also think about the other colleagues, other employees, what they have given back. Again, they must have given some more negative energy to the person. So what is happening? Who is more affected by all that? Is the person who is criticizing or the person who is facing the criticism? In a layman language, we may think that it is the person who is getting criticized is getting impacted more, but actually it is not that. The person who is criticizing, the person who is talking all those negative things, that person is getting impacted much more than that. Well, someone has very, very interestingly said in this particular thing, that when the game is over, the king and the pawn go back in the same box. So it's very important to understand that when we are criticizing, it is we who are getting the negative energy first. And second important thing is that the person who is getting criticized, after getting criticized, that person is not getting empowered, but that person is becoming weak and making the same mistake again and again. You must have seen many times it happens that maybe there is a program, maybe a cinema hall or a theater, and it is being advised that everyone should switch off their mobile, and then somehow someone's mobile rings. What happens at that time? That person tried to close that mobile, try to close that ring, but that does not happen because the negative energy is so much at that time that that person feels puzzled. So what do we want with our child, with our friends, with our colleagues? Whether they should be puzzled or they want to be more empowered. Well, very interestingly said, very interestingly said by Plato, that we can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when the men are afraid of the light. Well, if I talk about myself, many times I do criticize people, sometimes verbally, sometimes internally, but doing it. It can be for a political party, it can be for a person, it can be for a situation. But then who is getting more impacted? Is it me or the other person? Also, when I'm criticizing a person, I know that I'm disempowering. But every day I'm challenging myself and becoming a better person, of converting myself from criticism to the constructive feedback so that that person can improve further. What you are doing, I'm looking for your feedback. Thank you.